guys, welcome back to another episode of Ark Survival Evolved on the Pooptopia server. Today's going to be a little bit different than normal. Today, I'm going to be building my greenhouse, and you guys are going to be listening to some short stories that I've written and pre-recorded for you. So without further ado, sit back, relax, grab your favorite blanket and some milk and cookies, and enjoy some short stories about some dinosaurs that we already know and love, and some dinosaurs we're going to get to know in the future. The Ugly Pteranodon. Once upon a time, there lived a colorblind Argentavis named Esmeralda. Esmeralda, or Esme, as everyone called her, was not a very smart Argent, but she was extremely caring and loyal. She lived on the half-burnt island with all the other Argies. One day, Esme was flying around the center, enjoying the day, when she spied an abandoned egg. Now, since she was colorblind, she didn't realize that this was not an Argie egg. So she carefully picked it up and brought it back to her nest where she began to sit on it. She sat and sat and sat and then sat just a little bit more. And then one day she felt it starting to hatch. She was so excited, but when it fully hatched, she looked at it and thought it looked a bit strange. Not quite like the other baby Argies I've seen. But she loved it anyway. She named him Grasputin III after her grandfather, and she swore she would always protect him forever. As Grasputin grew up, Esme trained him the best she could, but she always thought something was wrong with him. He couldn't fight like the other Argies could, but he certainly could fly circles around them. Grasputin would often get made fun of by the other Argies his age. "You're the scrawniest, weirdest looking Argie we have ever seen," they would say. Every day he would try to make a friend, and every day he would get laughed at. "We don't want to be friends with you. You can't even fight." Now, the half-burnt island was also the home of the Argent Council. The Argent Council were the ones who decided what was best for all of the Argies on the center. One day, they saw Grasputin bumbling around trying to make friends and win some fights, and they were not pleased with what they saw. They thought Grasputin might make the other dinos not respect the Argies anymore. So they decided to gather to discuss what to do about Grasputin. Once they had come to a decision, they went to pay Esme and Grasputin a visit. "Listen," they said. "We have seen your son Grasputin struggling to fit in here, and we have decided that he does not belong here. He is without a doubt the worst Argie we have ever seen, and we don't want him ruining our appearance. So we have decided that he is to be banished to the half-burnt island and be sent to the northern tropical island." No matter how much Esme begged, she couldn't get them to change their mind, and that very afternoon Grasputin was taken to the northern tropical island. Now, no Argie in their right mind went to live on the tropical island, because they believed you would go insane if you spent too much time there. Something about the air is just not quite right there, they would say. But as soon as Grasputin got to the new island, he began to feel different, and he began to see other Argies that looked like him. He was so happy that he was not alone anymore. While he was exploring his new home, one of the other strange Argies came over to him. "You're new here, aren't you? I haven't seen you around." "Yes, I'm new," he said. "I just got banished from the half-burnt island because I wasn't a good enough Argie. Is that what happened to you too?" "What? No, I'm a pteranodon just like you, silly. Come on, I'll show you around." Grasputin was astonished. At last it all made sense, and he finally felt like he belonged. Back on the half-burnt island, Esme was crushed that her son had gotten taken away and didn't even know what she could do. If she went to get him, she would go insane and forget all about him. Eventually, she gave up hope that she would ever see him again. And then one day, as she was waking up, she looked out at the horizon and saw what looked like Grasputin. She was so happy that someone had given him a good home that she didn't even realize she had followed him all the way back to the northern island. She began to feel strange and woozy, and then she couldn't remember why she was even here, or what she was doing, or where her home was. She was all turned around and didn't know what to do. As she was flying around, she saw a person hanging off of a flying dino coming toward her with a bow and arrows, and all of a sudden she began to feel really sleepy. Next thing she knew, she woke up on a small island, and standing next to her was Grasputin. She had gotten all of her memories back. "Maybe it was that nap I took," she thought to herself. "Hi, Mom," Rasputin said. I'm so happy to see you again. Since I was banished, I learned that I'm not an RG at all. I'm a pteranodon, and I fit right in here. This is Red. She's very nice. She gave me a nice home and trained me up to be the best pteranodon I could be. She calls me Grape, because she's a little silly. But you can still call me Grasputin if you want. You will always be my mom, even though I'm not an RG like we thought. Esme was so happy to be reunited with her son. Even if he was a pteranodon, she still loved him with all her heart. From then on, she went to live with Red and Grape and the rest of her new family at Red's base on the northern tropical island. The Bronto and the Compy. Casper the Compy and Byron the Bronto were best friends. How they became friends, nobody knows, but they were. Every night, Byron would drop his tail to the ground and let Casper walk up his back to sit on his head and see the stars. They would create the wrong constellations like the dancing dodo, the injured ichthy, and the speedy stego. Being together and stargazing is what they enjoyed the most. One night, while looking off into the sky, Casper saw a big dino a little ways off into the distance. They waved to be friendly and thought nothing more of it. After a few minutes, they realized the dino was working its way closer to them. "Maybe he wants to be friends," said Byron. "I don't think he wants to be friends. I think he wants a snack. That's a Giga! Quick, run!" Byron was running as fast as he could, but the Giga had turned his attention to them and was gaining on them quickly. "Oh no, this is really bad," said Casper. "I don't know if we're going to make it out alive, Byron." "Save yourself, Casper. You can slip away quickly and hide until he goes away." "No, I'm not going to leave you by yourself. I might be small, but I can still do something." And with that, Casper slid down Byron's back and ran straight for the Giga. "Keep going without me," he yelled back to Byron. "I have a foolproof plan." The Giga was gigantic compared to Casper, and even though Casper was afraid, he was determined to be brave. Casper got as close as he could to the Giga's feet, and while dodging his chomps, he started to run as fast as he could around the Giga. Around and around Casper went, dodging the huge teeth to keep from getting eaten. All the Giga could do was spin around in circles trying to catch Casper. Soon the Giga started to feel very dizzy and a little nauseous. After a few more spins, he fell flat on his face because he was so dizzy. Casper's plan had worked! As soon as the Giga fell to the ground with dizziness, Casper ran off to find Byron. "Byron, it worked!" he yelled as soon as he caught up with him. But Byron couldn't hear him. He was crying because he thought he lost his best friend forever. "Byron, I'm right here!" But it was no use. He couldn't hear Casper. Casper tried all kinds of different things to get Byron's attention. He tried biting his big foot, but Byron didn't feel it. He tried running in front of him and waving his arms up in the air, but Byron couldn't see through his tears. Casper kept following him, trying to get his attention until Byron was so exhausted from running away that he lay down on the ground to rest. "Ah," Casper thought, "now I can get his attention." He crawled up on Byron and went right over to his head and started jumping up and down until Byron finally noticed him. "Casper," Byron said, "I thought you got eaten by that Giga. What happened? How did you manage to get away?" "I just made him dizzy until he fell over and left us alone." "You're brilliant, Casper. You really did it. You really saved us." "Just because I'm small doesn't mean I can't help." "You're so right, Casper." And as always, that night they gazed upon the stars, happy that they were safe and back together again. The Adventures of Charlotte, the Curious Little Dodo. There was once a young dodo named Charlotte. Charlotte was not like the other dodos. She was adventurous, courageous, and curious about everything. She wondered why the sky changed colors at sunrise and sunset. She wondered why Brontos were so big and she was so small. She wondered what was on the other islands. But most of all, she wondered why everyone couldn't just get along. Why is everyone either running or fighting? Why can't we all be friends? She was determined to find out the answer. So she decided to take a trip around the island she lived on and ask the other dinos. The first dino she came across was a Dillo. Without fear, she waltzed right up to him. "Excuse me," she asked, "why do you always pick fights with the other dodos?" He was so astonished that a dodo had approached him that he ran away. "Huh, He didn't seem very scary. He just ran away. I'll have to ask somebody else. The next dino she came across was a trilobite. She walked over to it and asked, "Why are you always running away? Won't you be my friend?" The trilobite didn't respond, just glided its way across the sand back into the water. Well, that was rude. But she was still determined to find an answer, so she kept on going. She came across a tapajara who seemed friendly, but before she could ask her anything, the tapajara flew away. Then she came across a very strong-looking triceratops. "Hi, I'm Charlotte. What's your name?" "My name is Trigosaurus Rex." "Oh, what an interesting name. Would you like to be my friend?" "Listen, kid. The only friends I have are other strong trikes like me. I need friends who can fight so we can protect ourselves from bigger dinos." "You wouldn't last a second against a Rex," he said. "But why do you have to fight with them? And why do they have to fight with you? Maybe you should ask one." "Well, maybe I will." And with that, she scurried away in search of a Rex she could ask. She searched all over her island, but she couldn't find one. So she hitched a ride with a kind turtle and traveled across the ocean to one of the other islands. This island looked so intimidating that Charlotte's instincts kicked in, and she was actually a little scared. There were Carnos and Argents and Scorpions and Sabertooths and Rexes all over the place. So what better place to talk to one, right? She mustered up all her courage and went up to the biggest looking Rex she could find. "Excuse me, sir," she yelled up to him. "Can I ask you something?" The Rex looked around to see who was talking, but he didn't see anyone. "Down here," Charlotte yelled. He looked down and froze with astonishment. A dodo of all things was talking to him. He had never heard of such a thing in his whole life. Why do you always pick fights with the other dinos? Why can't you make friends instead?" "Ha ha 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 ha!" He laughed a mighty laugh that almost blew the small dodo away. "Well, you see," he said, "I'm a carnivore. That means I eat meat. It's nothing against the other dinos, I just have a big appetite." "Well, have you tried berries or vegetables? They're quite tasty." "No, I've never tried berries or vegetables, but I don't think I would like them very much. Now, if you don't want to get eaten, I suggest you leave this island." "But wait, why don't you just try them? You might like them. You never know until you try. Here, I have some berries with me." "You're the strangest dodo I've ever seen." "Okay, I will try them." So Charlotte gave him all the berries she had brought with her for the trip. Huh. What do you think?" she said. "They're surprisingly good. I would have never thought I would like them." "See, I told you. Now, will you stop eating the other dinos?" "Well, I might, but all I have are big teeth and very short hands. I can't really pick berries for myself." "Well, how about I pick them for you? We can be friends, and I'll pick the berries for both of us, and then we can go on picnics together." "That does sound quite nice. All right, let's do it." And from then on, the two became best friends, going on picnics, exploring the islands, and making more new friends. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, where we'll be doing more stuff like this in the future. See you next time!